just come back from the Isle of Arran this morning, having been leading a workshop with Mark Littlejohn. Had 5 fantastic clients, amazing conditions, and unfortunately a really long drive back. I only got back at 3 AM this morning, then I was up at 8 AM ready for some conference calls for my day job. Anyway, I've stolen 15 minutes out of my day to quickly put this vlog together, which will be going out tonight. So, and you've also caught me in the middle of a little bit of lunchtime editing. Right, I thought what I would do is the time is right to give you a list of suggestions for potential photographic Christmas gifts that you can give or ask for, I guess. Some of them a little bit pricey and some of them not so pricey. So there may be 1 or 2 ideas you might get from this. Anyway, without further ado, let's crack on. So the first one, how about supporting your fellow photographers? It's difficult these days to make a living out of landscape photography. Some guys are doing a great job of that, either YouTube personalities or elsewhere. But for everybody else, it can be really quite difficult to make any money out of this game. You know, most people aren't in it to make money in any way, shape or form, but there's no harm in making a little bit off the back of some of your excellent photographs. So why not support some of your fellow landscape photographers? And one way you can do that at this time of year is with calendars. This year I've bought, there's a young lad called Jake Turner. He did a very short run of some calendars for 2019. They were only £10. So bought one of those to give him a little bit of extra pocket money. But there are other guys out there all over the place who are doing calendars, along with the you know, some of the big names like Nigel Danson, Tom Heaton, and people like that. So, you know, whatever takes your fancy. There's also some smaller guys out there who would really appreciate some help, and it's always nice to have a nice calendar on your wall. Yes, number two. I guess it's the 12 days of Christmas. Number 2. Perhaps one of the most expensive of this list is supporting fellow photographers and yourself with workshops. Now, workshops aren't for everybody, and the most popular tend to be the big group workshops, but a lot of guys offer one-to-one days, and it might just be a half day or a full day. And normally in the region of sort of, you know, £50 to £150, something like that. Some guys obviously charge more than others for various reasons, but just a good way of getting out for the day with somebody who's like-minded, really into landscape photography, and is probably going to be able to teach you 1 or 2 things. So possibly that's a good thing to ask for Christmas, a one-to-one photography workshop to allow you to take an extra step forward in your own landscape photography and support some of those guys out there who are working hard to make a living out of this. Okay, so number three, another way you can kind of improve your photography, I guess all of these things help you in one way, shape or form, and that's possibly with a magazine subscription. So I subscribe to Outdoor Photography magazine, which I think is pretty much the best on the market in the UK for out and out outdoor photography. landscapes, macro work, seascapes, all of that kind of stuff. There's always some really good representation from some excellent photographers in this. There's always interesting articles on technique. There's thought-provoking articles. There's news and things like that. But yeah. A really good magazine to subscribe to. It's about £48 if you subscribe online for 12-month subscription. You know, Steve Watkins, who is the editor of this particular magazine, is one of the best eyes in the business for a good photograph. So you're always going to get some quality photography to browse through on a monthly basis. Okay. So that was 1, 2, 3. Number 4. Number 4. You may recognise these things. This thing here. I've been asked about this quite a lot. It's probably the one single thing that I've been asked about from my vlogs the most. This is the wrap that I basically put over my camera in inclement weather, or whenever I kind of leave it alone and go off and do something else. Remembering to spread those legs on the tripod so it doesn't blow over while I'm away from it. But it just protects the camera. In fact, it's protected the camera when it has fallen over. Yeah, it just keeps the elements off. It's a rather big microfiber cloth, thick on one side with like a fleecy liner, and has Velcro in the 4 corners, so you can wrap it up and wrap it around the tripod and the camera on top. They're made by Whitton, and I think they have a website. You can get them directly on the website or from certain retailers, including Amazon. And they range between about £18 and £22 or something for a wrap. I've got a couple of these. I'll probably buy another one as well, because they're great. You stick them. You can also stick them in the washing machine to keep them clean. Excellent little piece of kit. Okay, number 5. Number 5. These things here. Really inexpensive Zeiss lens wipes. Buy them in packs of 24, or more cost effective, boxes of 200. It's about £10.99 for a box of 200 of these things. Great. I just chuck a couple of these in my bag when I head out on the hills. It's effectively a little alcohol wet wipe thing. Great for just cleaning off your lens element if it gets a little bit mucky, if you get any fingerprints on it or whatever. So yeah, that's a very inexpensive thing to ask for from Santa. Okay, so number 6. I'd say one of the things which has improved my photography the most is one of these things, an L bracket. A lot of people know what these are, and then you'll speak to another landscape photographer and they'll go, what the hell's a L bracket? Anyway, it just fits on the bottom of your camera, like so, and allows you to switch on an Arca Swiss top plate between landscape and portrait, keeping the camera over the centre of your tripod head very, very quickly. No buggering about with having to tilt the tripod sideways and then it's kind of sinks like this. So it just enables you to get between landscape and portrait rapidly. Needless to say, mine is normally in portrait mode. Right, number 7, I think. I might have got all this numbering wrong. But anyway, a head torch. When you're carrying all your big photography bag and tripods, it's no good carrying a torch. We like to be out as landscape photographers until after last light. So best thing to do is have something that lights up the landscape on your head. I use one of these things, a Petzl Nao Plus, which is one of the more expensive ones that you can get, but you can get them. They're about £30 for a decent head torch from any outdoor retailer or online retailer. I got this one specifically because it's so powerful, because I wanted to be able to find my clients in the dark when on the hill, and this will light up a mountainside. So yeah, that's why I've got the expensive one, but you don't have to pay out a lot of money for something fairly decent, and it will just keep you safe and allow you to stay out longer after dark. Number 8, are we on 8? Think so. Anyway, one of these things, light as a feather, literally weighs nothing. It's a LifeStraw. It just allows you to drink from streams and all sorts of things without having to worry about potential harmful bacteria and viruses and all that kind of thing. You get some nice fresh water. It weighs nothing, literally, I don't know, 10, 20 grams, something like that. It just means you don't have to carry as many big bottles of water with you if you're on a day hike or whatever. You can just keep things, cut things down. Obviously, you can't extrude water through it like something like a catadine pump if you're wild camping, and then dispense it into a container that is purely for sucking through yourself. But yeah, for a day hike, if you know there's going to be water up on the mountain, if you generally know the mountain well, and you know there's water sources around, just might save it a kilo or two on water on a hike. So and when you're carrying all that photographic equipment, which is really heavy, keeping that kind of stuff down to a minimum is a bonus. Right, number 9. I've already done a vlog on this. Photography books. You cannot beat a good coffee table photography book to look through on a miserable wet day when you're not fancying going out and taking a photograph yourself. Get a cup of coffee and have a good look through a photography book. Not the type where it's how to do this, how to do that. I'm talking about proper good photography by excellent photographers who have put together portfolios of work, and you can really look at the images, see what works, see what you like, and try and work out how you might be able to develop your own photography along similar lines. I've already done like a top 5, but today I received Northwest by Alex Nail. I did mention it in that vlog, and this is his I think a 3 or 4 year project to photograph the Northwest Highlands, and eventually has come to fruition in the form of a rather delightful photography book featuring lots of nice images, big panoramas like this of places that haven't been photographed much. There's some of the obvious locations in there, but there's a lot of places where Alex has hiked to specifically because not many images of those places exist in the world today. So some rather unique viewpoints in this little baby. So and I do believe he is still taking orders for this on the run up to Christmas as well. So check it out online. Probably worth a little bit of money by yourself or as a gift from somebody else to yourself. So there we go. That's that. Number 10. I think I'll go with this little thing. Now, I think a few photographers I've seen on vlogs use this. I think Tom Heaton uses one of these, and it's this is one of the original ones. It's a Peak Designs capture clip. I think I actually got this when they first launched on Kickstarter some 7 or 8 years ago or something like that. What this little contraption does, and it's had various, there have been various versions and updates to it, improvements over the years, but the basic design remains the same. You kind of have a little base plate. In my case, it's an Arca Swiss one. They have base plates for Manfrotto as well, and I think 1 or 2 other manufacturers. But it's an Arca Swiss compatible base plate, fits on your camera. This little thing, undo the screws. Comes apart and fits around webbing on your rucksack or on a belt or whatever you slip your belt through. Close it up, tighten up the screws, effectively clamp it down, and then you've got basically a holder for your camera if you're just walking around the hills or even walking around town, and you want quick, ready access to your camera equipment. Your camera then goes on the plate and slips in and is quite secure there. There's an extra pin which you can twist to make it extra secure, but then there's a quick release button which just does that basically. Really handy to do to react to rapidly changing conditions if you're out and about. Okay, and now number 12 is the final one. Now I haven't seen anybody else using this system, okay, and I'm surprised that nobody's mentioned it on any of the vlogs. I've kind of shown a few scenes where I've done this, and nobody's noticed. I don't really know, but here's an example. Just to flatten out these ripples in the mountain, and if I did that today using my 10 stopper, I would need something in the order of about a 2-minute exposure. Yeah, it's effectively a magnet for your filter system. Now they're designed for circular filters, for quick changing of circular filters, but I've discovered that the magnetic strength of them is actually strong enough to hold a square slot in filter system, like Lee filters or Kokin, or in my case K's. What it is you've basically just got 2 rings. You attach one to each lens that you're using, and then you have the other ring on your filter system, and it just allows you to swap your filters between lenses rapidly without clipping them in. So I've got 2 lenses here. This is my it's my 50mm, it's my 24mm tilt shift. You know, if I want to change my lenses or whatever, I don't have to screw and unclip and do all that kind of thing. I literally just go like that, and as you can see, it's pretty secure. Take that off, and there we go. On the 50mm, so back and forth. Not cheap. They do cost a little bit of money, but once you've got them got these rings on all your lenses, it just makes life so much easier, believe you me. The only thing you've really got to look out for is if you tend to walk around with your camera with the filter system on, and maybe on the tripod over your shoulder, which you really shouldn't do, but we all do it. If that filter holder catches anything like your bag or a branch or something like that, the chances are it's going to come flying off, because it's strong enough to hold there in a wind, but if you apply any force to it, then it will just pop off and fall on the ground. Now it doesn't worry me so much with using case filters because they're shatter resistant, but other manufacturers will shatter if you look at them. Yeah, just be really cognizant of that. But it's yeah, it's a good system once you get used to it and you don't walk around with your lens, with your filters sitting on your lens and all those kinds of things. Then it's a pretty safe system to use really quick. Anyway, there we go. Hope that helps. A list of 12 things that you might feel like getting or asking Santa Claus, Father Christmas, whatever, St. Nicholas, for Christmas. Some of them a little bit expensive, some of them not so. Anyway, happy Christmas. Oh. Not yet, it's still November, can't really say that. Anyway, next week I will be doing I will be releasing a location type vlog. I haven't decided which one yet. It hasn't quite worked out. Didn't quite get the footage, forgot to press record on the camera, or I did press record and actually I wasn't. I was turning it off rather than pressing record, and recorded the video, the audio, and didn't record the video, recorded the audio, so it hasn't quite worked out. I'm trying to cut it together so that it does work. So if no vlog turns up next week, you'll know why, because it hasn't worked out. But anyway, there we go. Till next time, cheerio!